At the tender age of 16, Lena's life took an unexpected turn when she discovered she was expecting. Her parents, unable to accept this turn of events, banished her from their home. 15 years later, a surprising decision led them to seek out their daughter and grandson, only to be utterly astonished by what they encountered. Before we delve deeper, please share your country of origin as you're viewing this narrative, and confirm your subscription to this channel, where I regularly share compelling life stories. Enjoy the unfolding tale. During her sophomore year of high school, Lena found herself drawn to Dmitri, a student from an adjacent classroom. He possessed an athletic build, a captivating charm, and, to Lena's young mind, was the sole individual who truly comprehended her. They spent countless hours strolling through the park, confiding their aspirations and sketching out visions of their future. Their shared dream was a life intertwined, a journey towards achieving something significant. Lena genuinely believed their connection was an unbreakable bond. However, the conclusion of their schooling marked a drastic shift. Dmitri began to drift away, and their cherished meetings became a distant memory. Increasingly, his conversations revolved around his grand ambitions and the paramount importance of securing admission to a prestigious university. "We need to have a discussion," Dmitri stated one day, halting abruptly on a familiar path in their beloved park. "Is something amiss?" Lena inquired, a sense of unease tightening within her. "Everything is constricting, you see. Our relationship no longer aligns with my trajectory. I have plans. I intend to pursue higher education, to forge a career, and our current dynamic," he faltered, averting his gaze, "is merely an impediment." Lena felt her entire world crumble before her eyes. "How could you abandon everything so readily?" she pleaded. "What we envisioned together is now in the way." She pressed. "I believed we could overcome any obstacle as a united front. I apologize, but I've concluded this is for the best, for both of us," he declared. His words struck Lena like a physical blow. She remained rooted to the spot for an extended period, watching Dmitri depart without a backward glance, her heart shattered. Yet, this was merely the commencement of her trials following her separation from Dmitri. Lena felt adrift. She attempted to immerse herself in her studies as a distraction, but thoughts of him persistently occupied her mind. A few weeks later, her life was once again thrown into disarray. She discovered she was pregnant. The news sent shockwaves through her. She sat clutching the pregnancy test, disbelief warring with a cocktail of fear, confusion, and a flicker of fragile hope. Lena resolved to confide in her parents, seeking their solace and guidance, but the outcome was devastatingly different. "You've brought shame upon us," her mother shrieked, dabbing her eyes with a handkerchief. "This kind of behavior will not be tolerated under our roof. Do you comprehend the gravity of your actions?" Her father boomed. His gaze, as if she were a stranger, pierced Lena. She attempted to convey her readiness to embrace responsibility and navigate the situation, but their words inflicted a deeper wound than any physical injury. "You will raise your child anywhere but here." With those final cutting words, her mother turned away, and the door slammed shut, leaving Lena utterly alone. Dusk settled over the street, and the city succumbed to the somber hues of winter. Lena stood on the porch of her abandoned home, cradling her future in her hands. With no other recourse, she turned to her grandmother, Tatiana Nikolaevna, who resided in a different city. Lena knew, however, that her grandmother would never refuse her plea for assistance. Tatiana Nikolaevna welcomed her with open arms into her modest, yet warm dwelling. She immediately perceived the tear tracks on her granddaughter's face and the exhaustion etched upon her features, but refrained from probing with unnecessary questions. "Come in, my dear," she said, embracing Lena tenderly. "There is always a sanctuary for you here." Her grandmother wisely allowed Lena time to gather her composure and regain her strength over a comforting meal. Unable to bear the weight any longer, Lena recounted the entire ordeal, the confrontation with her parents, the pregnancy, and her overwhelming fear. "My mother claimed I'd disgraced them," she confessed, her voice thick with unshed tears, "and that I am no longer their daughter." Tatiana Nikolaevna exhaled a heavy sigh and placed a comforting hand on Lena's shoulder. "My child, People will voice their opinions, but a child is an unadulterated joy, and I will offer you every possible support. You are capable of managing this." Within the embrace of her grandmother's home, Lena felt a warmth she hadn't experienced in days. She knew her grandmother would provide the assistance she needed, and now she had a foundation upon which to build a new chapter. Miroslav was welcomed into the world in a small maternity clinic, his every moment attended by his grandmother's loving gaze. Tatiana Nikolaevna remained steadfastly by Lena's side, from the onset of labor until the moment a tiny infant with a crown of soft hair was placed in her arms. Lena simply gazed at her son, her heart overflowing with profound happiness. She cradled him gently, holding him close as if to shield him from any possible harm. "A true miracle," she whispered, stroking the minuscule palm that instinctively grasped her finger. "You are my delight." Years unfurled, and Miroslav's curiosity blossomed with each passing day. He peppered his grandmother with questions about the world around him. One evening, while they sat on the veranda, his innocent inquiry touched upon a deeply sensitive subject. With earnest eyes, he asked why his kindergarten peers had grandparents, a privilege he had never experienced. "Mother mentioned you are, in fact, my great-grandmother," he stated. Tatiana Nikolaevna paused her knitting, a somber expression crossing her face. "That is not an easy question to answer," she began softly. "You see, grown-ups sometimes err. Your grandparents were apprehensive." Miroslav's brow furrowed in confusion. "Apprehensive? Of me, Grandma? I was just a tiny baby." "You wouldn't fully grasp it yet, but I shall endeavor to explain. When your mother informed her parents of your impending arrival, they struggled to comprehend its significance. Their focus was regrettably more on societal judgment than on how eagerly your mother anticipated you." "They did not want me," the boy murmured, his voice trembling. "That is not accurate, my dear," Tatiana Nikolaevna assured him, her voice gentle as she stroked his hand. "Some people make choices. It's too late now. I chose love, and that, you know, is what truly matters." Miroslav gazed thoughtfully towards the garden, bathed in the soft glow of the setting sun. "But you are always with me," his grandmother affirmed, a note of unwavering hope in her voice. "Always, my darling." She responded with a warm smile. For family, she explained, comprises those who offer love and care, not simply blood ties. From the kitchen, Lena observed their exchange, tears tracing paths down her cheeks. The conversation was poignant, yet her grandmother, as always, found the right words to comfort Miroslav without wounding his tender heart. The boy matured, each year presenting new opportunities for growth. He was a diligent and engaged student, particularly drawn to the exact sciences. He would often ask his mother for help with his assignments, providing elegant and straightforward solutions, and effortlessly explaining complex concepts to his classmates. When Miroslav reached 15, the time came to contemplate his future. Lena and Tatiana Nikolaevna frequently discussed his aspirations during their shared meals. Miroslav approached his decision with earnest consideration, deliberating between a technical college and an art academy, a testament to his lifelong passion for drawing. One evening, as they sat together, he declared, "I wish to pursue a path where I can learn to create art and invent novel concepts." Lena smiled, witnessing the spark in his eyes. "You will undoubtedly choose that which brings you joy, my son. Your grandmother and I will forever stand by you." Tatiana Nikolaevna added gently, "The most crucial element is to follow your heart and remember this. Embrace life's offerings with unwavering love." Lena's life in their small town took an unexpected turn with the arrival of a new establishment, a bustling cafe managed by a young, ambitious entrepreneur named Artyom. He was a man brimming with innovative ideas and infectious enthusiasm, quickly capturing the attention of the local populace. Lena's first encounter with him occurred while she was assisting her grandmother with grocery shopping for Miroslav. Artyom possessed a remarkable sociability. His amiable demeanor was unparalleled, and his ready smile immediately charmed everyone he met. During their conversation, he noticed Lena's inherent kindness and modest nature. "You are a remarkably devoted mother," he remarked to Lena. She blushed slightly and offered a gentle smile. Their paths began to cross more frequently, both at the market and in chance encounters. Artyom, upon learning of Miroslav, expressed a keen interest in meeting him. Miroslav initially regarded Artyom with a degree of reserve. However, Artyom adeptly navigated the relationship, sharing his own early experiences in business and demonstrating genuine appreciation for Miroslav's artistic endeavors. During one visit, Artyom noticed several paintings displayed around the apartment. "Did you create these yourself?" he inquired with genuine surprise, gesturing towards a landscape. "Yes," Miroslav replied, a hint of embarrassment in his voice. "They are simply for my own enjoyment. Remarkable! They would be perfect for my cafe. Might I purchase them from you?" Miroslav seemed taken aback, but Artyom persisted. A few days later, Miroslav's artwork became a prominent feature on the cafe walls, drawing considerable admiration from patrons. Observing the pride radiating from her son, Lena felt a profound sense of warmth and support entering their lives through Artyom. As darkness enveloped the surroundings, a firm knock echoed through the house. Lena, engaged in tidying up, glanced out the window and recognized two familiar figures on the porch. Her parents stood there. A pang of apprehension, long dormant, resurfaced, stirring old wounds. Miroslav approached her, sensing her sudden tension. "Mother, who are these people?" he asked softly. "Are they your parents?" Lena managed to utter the words with difficulty. Tatiana Nikolaevna opened the door, greeting her son and his wife with a stern, unwavering gaze. "Enter, if your intentions are honorable," she stated curtly, stepping aside. A palpable tension permeated the air within the house. Lena's parents took their seats at the table, their eyes scanning the room, seemingly assessing its contents against their preconceived notions. "We decided to pay you a visit," her mother began, adjusting her collar. "Years have passed. It is time for us to reconnect." Lena offered a reserved nod, her eyes devoid of any warmth. She listened as her parents spoke of the hardships they had endured during that time and their concern for her well-being, yet their words felt hollow and insincere. Miroslav, who had remained silent until this point, suddenly stepped forward. "Where were you when Mother was alone, when she faced difficulties?" he demanded directly. Lena's parents were momentarily speechless, their expressions shifting from bewilderment to palpable embarrassment. "My family," Miroslav continued, gesturing towards Lena and Tatiana Nikolaevna. "These are my mother and grandmother. They have always been there for me. You only arrived because you suddenly grew bored." Lena's heart ached at her son's words. She started to speak, but Tatiana Nikolaevna placed a calming hand on her shoulder. "Miroslav, go to your room." She then turned her attention to Igor and his wife. Returning to the table, she addressed Igor directly. "You know, I had hoped you would finally find the courage to apologize to your daughter. Instead, all I detect is justification." "Mother, we did not intend to offend her," Igor began, but she cut him off. "No, Igor. You simply chose the path of least resistance. Lena was a child, and you turned away because you feared responsibility." "But we were worried." Igor's wife attempted to interject, her words sounding weak and unconvincing. "We would have been concerned if you had provided support, but now it is far too late. Lena has raised a remarkable son. She has a family, and there is no place for you in this family until you learn to admit your transgressions." These words hung in the air like a pronouncement. Lena's parents rose from the table, still struggling to find an adequate response. However, something in Tatiana Nikolaevna's gaze caused Igor to lower his head. His wife's eyes darted around the room, as if searching for something to salvage their dignity, but to no avail. "We did not wish to impose," Igor murmured, his voice subdued and compliant. Tatiana Nikolaevna gestured towards the door. Lena's parents departed in silence, each burdened by the realization that their visit had achieved nothing beyond intensifying their guilt. Lena stood by the window, watching the receding taillights of their car. A peculiar sense of calm settled over her, tinged with a subtle melancholy. Tatiana Nikolaevna approached and gently placed her hand on Lena's shoulder. "They made their choice," she stated softly. Now, your home is a place of love and understanding. That is the paramount consideration. Lena nodded. She no longer harbored fears of the past or the possibility of their return. The highly anticipated graduation day had arrived. Miroslav, resplendent in a new suit chosen by the entire family, radiated happiness and pride. Lena stood before the mirror, adjusting her son's tie, her emotions threatening to overwhelm her. That evening, parents, educators, and the graduating class convened at the school. Miroslav was presented with an award for his exceptional academic achievements, and the principal lauded him in his speech as a student who served as an exemplar for his peers. Lena and Tatiana Nikolaevna sat in the audience, applauding with immense pride. Following the formal ceremony, a modest reception was held in the assembly hall. Lena stood by the window, observing Miroslav engaged in animated conversation with his classmates. Suddenly, she felt a gentle tap on her shoulder. Turning, she saw Igor. Igor? Lena and Tatiana Nikolaevna inquired in unison, approaching him. I wish to speak with you, he said quietly, avoiding their direct gaze. Tatiana Nikolaevna and Lena offered silent nods, granting him the opportunity. I realize it is regrettably too late, but I want to express my profound remorse for my past decision. I should never have abandoned you, Lena, he confessed. Observing her daughter, Lena's lips pressed together, a valiant effort to conceal her true feelings. You forged your own path, and now our family requires something specific, your support. He then turned to Tatiana Nikolaevna. Mother, you were invariably correct. Only now do I comprehend that I should have heeded your counsel rather than succumbing to my wife's influence, which led me astray. Tatiana Nikolaevna sighed, her gaze unwavering. Understanding your mistakes is a step, Igor. However, you should have exercised independent thought, not simply followed another's lead. This family has been built without your involvement. It is important to acknowledge your perspective. Thank you for listening. We will meet again tomorrow.